At 82, I've come to understand many things about life. But if I could turn back time and change just one decision, without hesitation, it would be this: moving into a nursing home. Back then, it seemed like the most logical step. My family encouraged me, promising that I'd be well taken care of, comfortable, safe, and I wanted to believe them. I truly did. But reality has a way of revealing itself slowly and sometimes painfully. If you're watching this, maybe you're considering a nursing home for yourself, or maybe someone you love is facing that choice. You might be thinking, this will be easier, safer, less stressful. I thought the same, but I wish someone had told me the full story, the quiet truths people don't often talk about. So today, I want to share the 6 regrets I carry with me. Things I wish I had known before I gave up the life I had. Stay with me until the end. Some of these realizations may surprise you, and if someone you love is on the edge of making this life-altering decision, what I'm about to share might be the one thing they truly need to hear. Regret number 1: losing my independence. The biggest shock wasn't the small room. It wasn't the unfamiliar smells or the new faces. It wasn't even the fixed meal times or the medical routines. The hardest part? Realizing that I was no longer in charge of my own life. Before moving in, I had my own rhythm. I woke up when I wanted. I made my coffee the way I liked it. I could decide to take a walk, cook a meal, or sit quietly with a book in my favorite chair. I didn't need to ask anyone's permission to be myself. But inside the nursing home, everything changed. Breakfast, served at the same time every morning, hungry or not. Lights out, a set hour, even if I wasn't tired. Want to go outside? You wait, because someone has to be available to help you. Even simple choices, like what to wear or what to eat, began to feel like privileges instead of rights. I remember waking up during my first week there. I reached for the book I had been reading at home, but it wasn't there. Neither were my plants, my chair, my cozy blanket. The room was cold, sterile. The walls felt like strangers. That moment hit me like a wave. I don't live here. I'm just existing here, and the hardest truth? Once you give up your independence, getting it back is nearly impossible. At first, you try to resist. You ask questions. You speak up. But over time, you stop. You stop asking for walks. You stop fighting over dinner choices. You stop dreaming. You become a part of their schedule. And in that process, you slowly lose the version of yourself you've spent a lifetime building. If you're thinking about moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready to give up the tiny freedoms that make your life feel like yours? Because once they're gone, you'll miss them more than you ever thought possible. Regret number 2: feeling forgotten. One of the hardest truths I've had to face is this: the world doesn't stop for you. When you move into a nursing home, life outside the walls continues, and sometimes it continues without you. At first, things felt okay. My daughter visited once a week. My grandchildren dropped by on weekends. We laughed, played cards, shared stories. For a while, it felt like I still had a place in their world. But slowly, the visits faded. Calls replaced conversations. Messages replaced memories. My daughter grew busier. My grandkids had school, friends, jobs, and holidays. They were the loneliest of all. Everyone said they'd come, but at the last minute, something always came up. I would sit in the common room, dressed and hopeful, staring at the door. Sometimes I wasn't alone. Other residents sat waiting too, eyes fixed on the entrance, hoping today would be the day someone remembered them. It's not that my family stopped loving me. Life just moved on. Out of sight, out of mind. That's what happens. People assume you're fine, that you've adjusted, that you don't need the connection anymore. One evening, I sat in my room, phone in hand, debating whether to call my son. I missed him. But I didn't want to seem needy. I didn't want to interrupt his life with the reminder that I was still here, waiting. So I put the phone down. And that moment right there was when it sank in. This is what it means to be forgotten. If you're considering this path, ask yourself, can I handle the silence, the waiting, the emptiness? Because even the most loving families can forget, not out of cruelty but out of habit. And once you're not there every day, it becomes incredibly easy for others to forget how much you still need them. Regret number 3, losing my sense of purpose. When I moved into the nursing home, I thought I was just changing addresses. I had no idea I was also leaving behind my reason for getting out of bed in the morning. At home, I had routines. I watered my plants. I made my own breakfast. I tidied up, folded laundry, fed the birds outside my window. They were small things, sure, but they gave me a reason to move, to think, to feel useful. Inside the nursing home, those responsibilities were gone. Meals appeared like clockwork. The cleaning was handled by staff. And the plants? They weren't mine anymore. At first, I thought it would feel relaxing. No chores, no errands, no pressure. But very quickly I realized I had nothing to do. The hours stretched out like empty hallways. I sat, I waited, I watched others do the same. There was a man named George, 84, a retired carpenter. Back home, he used to build things constantly. Birdhouses, shelves, benches. His hands were always moving. But here, there were no tools, nothing to fix, nothing to create. His hands sat idle in his lap. "I feel useless," he whispered one afternoon. And I understood. I felt it too. Without purpose, the mind slows. The body follows. You become a shadow of who you used to be. You're alive, but you're not really living. So before you choose this life, ask yourself, what gives my days meaning? What makes me feel needed? Because in a nursing home, those things don't come built in. You have to fight for them, and if you don't, the silence will swallow you. Regret number 4, watching my health decline. Faster than I ever expected. Before moving into the nursing home, I was doing relatively well for my age. I wasn't climbing mountains, but I had my routines. I moved, I cooked, I stretched, and I took walks. I felt strong, not just in body but in spirit. But after I arrived, something started to change. Slowly, and then all at once. At first, I thought I was just relaxing more. Meals were brought to me. I didn't have to clean or run errands. If I needed help, I just pressed a button. But what seemed like convenience came with a cost. The less I did for myself, the more I relied on others, and the more my body began to slow down. My legs started to feel weaker. I sat more than I stood. Even getting out of a chair became a task that required effort. The strength I had spent a lifetime maintaining began to fade, and not just for me. I saw it in others too. Alice was one of them. She was 81 when she arrived, full of life and energy. She took walks every day and proudly said, "I'm not slowing down just because I'm old." But a few months in, she stopped walking as much. Then came the walker, then the wheelchair. One day, she looked at me with sadness in her eyes and said, "I don't know when it happened, but I feel like I aged 10 years in just a few months." And she was right. In a place where everything is done for you, it's easy to forget that your body needs movement to survive. Muscles weaken, joints stiffen, and before you know it, you start to fade. If I had known how quickly things would decline, I would have fought harder. I would have kept moving, kept stretching, kept doing things for myself. even when it felt easier not to. So before you move into a nursing home, ask yourself, will I still have the willpower to keep my body strong in a place that makes everything effortless? Because once you slow down, getting back up is a lot harder than you think. Regret number 5. Losing my privacy and dignity. Before I moved in, I never realized how much I valued the simple act of being alone. At home, I had my own room, my own quiet, my own freedom. I could shut the door, sit in silence, take a shower whenever I wanted. My space was mine. But in a nursing home, privacy becomes a luxury, and dignity, something you fight to keep. From the moment I arrived, I felt like I was being watched. Staff walked in and out. Room checks were frequent, and shared spaces meant I was rarely alone. Even personal tasks, getting dressed, using the bathroom, often required assistance. Not because I couldn't do them, but because that's how the system worked. It's hard to explain what it feels like when you have to wait for someone just to take a shower, or when you need permission to use the restroom, or when your lunch arrives and it's something you can't stand, but there's no other option. And then there are the roommates. Not everyone gets a private room. I was fortunate to have a kind woman sharing mine. But not everyone is that lucky. I heard stories, roommates who were loud, messy, or confused, people who screamed through the night. And no matter how hard you try to make your side of the room feel like home, it never truly is. One of the most difficult moments for me was realizing how much of my dignity I had unknowingly given up. People knocked, but didn't always wait. I was often spoken to like a patient, not a person. My life was lived according to a schedule I didn't create. And slowly, that changes you. You stop feeling like yourself. You become a number, a room, a task on someone's checklist. So before you move into a nursing home, ask yourself, am I truly ready to give up my privacy, my autonomy, my dignity? Because once those things are gone, it's incredibly difficult to get them back. Regret number 6. Realizing it's harder to leave than you think. When I first entered the nursing home, I told myself it was temporary. I'll give it a try, I thought. If I don't like it, I'll just go home. But what I didn't realize was how complicated going home would become. At first, I believed I could leave any time. But life doesn't always work that way. While I was adjusting to my new surroundings, my old home was changing. My children had started clearing things out, donating, selling, even talking about renting it out. And when I mentioned going back, they hesitated. "Are you sure?" they asked. "Can you manage everything by yourself? Isn't it safer here?" They weren't trying to control me. They just wanted what they thought was best. But after months in the nursing home, I wasn't the same. I wasn't as strong. I wasn't as confident. I questioned myself, and that fear, that doubt, kept me from leaving. I met others with the same story. People who said, "I'll stay a little while," only to find themselves stuck. Time passed, money was spent, and homes were sold. And suddenly, there was nowhere to go back to. That's what no one tells you. Moving in feels like a reversible choice, but for many, it isn't. The longer you stay, the harder it is to leave. The world outside starts to feel far away. And one day, you wake up and realize the nursing home isn't just where you live. It's your whole world now. If you're thinking about taking this step, ask yourself, what if I want to leave? Will I be able to? Because once you're in, the barriers, emotional, financial, physical, can be much higher than you think. Final thoughts. Looking back, I don't regret growing older. Aging is a gift, but I do regret believing that a nursing home was my only choice. I thought I'd be more comfortable, more secure, more cared for. But what I found was a place that slowly chipped away at who I was. It took my independence, my privacy, my purpose, my voice. That doesn't mean nursing homes are bad for everyone. For some, they provide the care and safety that's absolutely necessary. But before you make that decision, truly consider what you're giving up. Because once you enter, life changes in ways you may not expect. If I had the chance to do it again, I would have explored other options. I would have asked for more help at home, reorganized things, got creative. Anything to hold on to the freedom I didn't realize I'd miss so much. And if you're standing at this crossroad wondering what to do, don't choose what's easiest. Choose what's right. Because your life, your routines, your memories, your choices is worth protecting. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and tell me, what's one thing you've learned today? Your stories matter, and they help us all feel less alone. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support means the world to us. It helps us keep creating content that informs, inspires, and connects. Until next time, take care of yourself and hold tight to the life that still belongs to you.